Rachel from the So Happy Quilters Association, and for those that haven't met me before, I'm the CEO and founder. And welcome to all of our new members and followers that we have got since our last live stream. So I thought it'd be really nice to welcome in 2026 and to tell you all about the amazing charities that we partner with, and also our corporate sponsorships as well, and to talk about them. So I thought it was a great way to start 2026. So one of the amazing charities that we partner with is called Tools for Self-Reliance. This is an absolutely great charity that is based down in Southampton, and they have been going for well over 45 years. And what they do is they repair things like this, which is a hand crank Singer sewing machine. And they repair these sewing machines and then they send them out to Africa, to places like Malawi and Zimbabwe, to train girls to be tailors. Now, one of the things that we did last year, as you can see from our banner, was our 24-hour sew-a-thon. And we literally stayed sewing from 9 a.m. on the 30th of October right round to 9 a.m. on the 31st of October. And we raised enough money to sponsor 2 girls to be tailors during this year. And what's going to be amazing is going to be able to follow in them through their tailoring course. And this charity, they don't just train girls to be tailors. They also train young men to be things like builders and carpenters, electricians, with the tools that they actually repair as well. So there are other ways that you can get involved with them. Obviously, our way is that we are fundraising to raise the money to train the girls to be tailors, but there are other things that you can do to support this most amazing charity. One thing that they actually do is they also have an eBay shop, and through the eBay shop you can buy sewing machines that they've repaired and haberdashery stuff that goes in and tools that goes into the charity, and that money goes directly to support all the work, the amazing work that they do. They also have their own haberdashery and tool selling sessions, which you can go to, which are widely advertised on their website. One thing that they also do is they do a weekly lottery, and for £1 a week you can go into their lottery and to potentially win £25,000. So it's such a great charity to get involved in. So the So Happy Quilters Association this year are going to be doing quite a lot for them. Our first thing that we're doing is on the 21st of March, we're going to be doing our we're celebrating National Sewing Day and National Quilting Day with going to them and doing a fundraising event, helping to sell all their stash. So we're going to talk more about that at the end when we have all our events. We're also going to be doing an amazing tour at that place, because when I went there back in November, I had a look. I went around their whole workshop, and it literally is like walking around a sewing machine museum. It is literally phenomenal. And so in June there is going to be a tour which I'm going to talk you through along with the staff at Tools for Self-Reliance, and then you're going to get to hear lots of history all about Singer sewing machines, which is one of the big machines that they actually do. Hello Beryl, thank you for joining me this evening. So it's a great thing. And then also again in October we will definitely be doing, as part of our 24-hour sew-a-thon, we will be doing raising money for them again. We're probably going to be sewing for one of our other charities at the same time, and then raising the money for Tools for Self-Reliance as well. So they are an absolutely great charity, and there's so many different ways that you can get involved with them. They do also have a Amazon wish list, and so you can go onto Amazon, put in their details, and it will bring up their wish list as to what is involved with them. So they're a great charity, so do go check out Tools for Self-Reliance and learn all about them. So the other charity that we have partnered with, and I am actually a community ambassador for, is From Me to You Letters. This is a very inspiring, amazing charity, and this all started because back in last year, around about September time, I had a hospital appointment, and I went into the waiting room, and I found that there was all these letters, and I just thought, what is this? This is just really interesting. And on the front it's got a sticker, and it says, From Me to You, people write letters to people living with cancer. Our aim is to brighten your day, even though we don't know who you are. Now, the envelope was actually open, and I did think, oh, okay, this is really interesting. So I had a look inside, and what was inside the envelope was a lovely letter that had been written by a lovely lady called Lucy. And also in the envelope was information about the charity, some leaflets about the charity, and another little piece of paper about my dear friend as well. And also in the envelope was some tea bags. And I just thought it is such a great charity. So I wanted to have some way that the So Happy Quilters Association could get involved with From Me to You letters. And an idea that I came up with was to provide cup mats, because after the people have read their amazing, their lovely letters, and then they've had their cups of tea, you're going to put your tea onto a cup mat. So one thing that we do as part of the So Happy Quilters Association is to provide these little cup mats, which can be between 4 and 5 inch square or round. It doesn't really matter what shape they are. They just can't be any bigger than 5 inch because they have to go into a standard envelope. And so this is a lovely pile of cup mats that are going to be going off to them. And then on our cup mats, we put our little sticker on the back, which is our Shine, Embrace, Wellbeing, which is our ethos. And then what the charity are doing is they are putting them inside the envelopes. So there's lots of other ways that you can get involved with this charity as well, a bit like Tools for Self-Reliance. They do have other events you can get involved in. They also have letter writing workshops that you can get involved in, and they're all on Zoom, so it's really easy to do. So if you fancy, like lovely Lucy, fancy writing some letters for them that go out to the people, then you can get involved in that, and that's a really great way to do it. Their biggest expense is stamps and envelopes, and obviously they do hold events to raise funds. So one thing that they do is called From Me to You Brew, and as a quilt group or as a craft group, what you can do is you can go onto their website and apply and get one of these packs, and in the pack you get some really interesting information to help you. So it says that £5 will fund stamps to a cancer patient for 6 months, £25 pays for 250 posters and leaflets to be distributed, and 120 enables us to supply one of our outlets with letters for their cancer patients for a year. When they say outlets, they mean like their hospitals or waiting rooms and places like that. So they also, let me just pick that up, I've just knocked it over, there you go. So they also have like a little tick list of what you can do, things like before the event, decide when and where you want to hold the event, ask for help from family and friends, fill in your poster and events details, and then it says what to do during the event and after the event to raise the money. And what a lot of people do is they get together with their little craft group or their sewing group or any kind of like groups that even their friendship group, and then they might do some baking, or they might sell the cakes, or they have a little stash sale. So this is basically all to help you. So you also get some leaflets you can put up as to where your event is going to be held, and you also get some really interesting little interesting about how to make, what is it, with short crust pastry you can make a raspberry jam little thing. So that's quite cool. I quite like that, and it's quite lovely. You also get some stickers as well to say thank you for your donation. You also get some sheets to fill in what people have donated and their email address, and you've also got a QR code that goes straight to their Just Giving page, and it's really lovely. So if with your group, if you don't really know, if you've got a charity event coming up and you're not really sure what to do this year for 2026, then this is a really great charity to get involved in. And like I said, you can actually get involved with writing the letters as well. They do have a whole army of people who write the letters, and then they have another army of people who are reading the letters and then they're sending them out. So like I mentioned, the biggest expense is postage and envelopes, and they also, like Tools for Self-Reliance, they also have a wish list on Amazon. You can go on there, and if you wanted to, you could literally just buy a book of stamps and have it sent directly to the charity, because then the charity can use them to send the letters out. So it's a really lovely way. They have got coming up in a couple of weeks' time, they do a 24-hour write-a-thon. So a bit like our 24-hour sew-a-thon, they're doing it for 24 hours from 9 a.m. on the 7th of February right around to 9 a.m. on the 8th of February. And this is to literally to write the letters. And they're doing it on that 7th of February because it is World Cancer Day, and they're hoping to get as many letters as possible written. So it is something you can go onto their website and you can register for to join in with that. I will actually be hosting an hour of it on the 7th of February. So I will just be talking for my letters all about the sewing that I do. So it's a really great charity. One of the other things that From Me to You letters do is they have amazing, lovely little bookmarks. These are super, super cute. So they have a lovely little picture on the front, and then they have information on the back. And you might find these bookmarks in places like charity shops and in outlets and maybe in like hospital waiting rooms. And it's really lovely because a lot of people do still read books these days, and you can still use them. In fact, they're quite useful actually for drawing straight lines, I found, with quilting. And these are really, really lovely. And you can always go to ask the charity to have some sent to you. So if you are part of any quilting group and you want to give them out, and it's a nice way of actually advertising the charity as well. So it's a lovely, lovely charity to get involved in. And I'm really excited last year that they asked me to be a community ambassador. And one thing that the So Happy Quilt Association are going to be doing this year is having about monthly to 6 weekly Zoom sewing days making the cup mats, which I'm going to talk to you about in a bit, all about the events. And with the cup mats, once they are made, thank you very much, Beryl. I'm really happy with my setup this evening. And one thing that when the cup mats are made, we have a PO box address that you can send them to, which is SHQA PO Box 252 Peacehaven BN10 9EG. That information is also on our website as well, and you will get that when you sign up to the Zoom workshops to do. And during those, I'm going to be doing some demos on how to make some really, really easy and super cute little cup mats like this little one. So it's a really great way. It's a great way to use your scraps up as well if you want to get involved. So these are our two amazing charities that we sponsor and we partner with. So they're definitely ones that we're going to be supporting through 2026 and getting involved in. So do help us to support them. So the next thing is I want to talk to you about our corporate sponsorships, because this is quite different to our charity sponsors. Our corporate sponsors are amazing businesses who run quilt shows that we really want to be there to support them as well, because by supporting events companies who put on quilt shows, you are supporting the suppliers, and suppliers really need our support because they love their little businesses, they love selling all the fabrics, and they do love exhibiting at quilt shows. So we are going to be doing some corporate sponsorships this year. The first one that we're doing is with Grosvenor Events. Grosvenor Events run some amazing shows all the way around the UK. And they're a lovely, lovely family business that have been working hard for very many years, putting on amazing shows. And there's usually one every month, and they're obviously around the country. And in those shows, every single show has a quilt display, and only a couple of them actually have a quilt competition. So the one that we are sponsoring this year is going to be the Quilts UK, that is in Malvern in May, and we are sponsoring their beginners category. It's really great to be sponsoring beginners because it gives them a real welcome into the community, the quilting community, to show them that we love beginners and love the quilts that they're making. And so it's just to celebrate them really. And Grosvenor also put on workshops as well. So the way that their workshops work is that when you go to their shows and you go into the entrance and you pay for your ticket, or you brought it online previously, there's going to be a desk. And on those desks, it shows all the different workshops that you can get involved in. They are super, super cheap, and they're really, really great to get involved in. They're literally only like an hour or an hour and a half of a little workshop. And I find it's quite nice when you've been walking around a show and you're quite exhausted. And obviously you do sit down and have your lunch, you have a cup of tea, but it's quite nice to then sit down for an hour and do a little workshop. And maybe you're also supporting the tutors as well, learning from them of the things that they do. So definitely do get involved with Grosvenor Events and also with their workshops that they do. So the next one is ICHF. And ICHF, they run amazing shows throughout the UK. They run them at in Birmingham at the NEC, and they also run them at places like the Scottish Quilting Show, which is at the Scottish Exhibition Centre. So their show is we are sponsoring their Scottish Quilting Show, which is the 5th to the 7th of March, and we're sponsoring the Stitching Den. Now, the Stitching Den, again, like the Grosvenor shows, is all about sitting down and enjoying new things, learning new things, and just having a little rest and learn a new little process while you're there. Now, their workshops, you need to book through the website. So they're already, for the Scottish Quilting Show and Sewing for Pleasure, they're already available to book on their website. You can actually book some when you get to the shows, but there might not always be space for the ones that you want. So the best thing to do is to always book previously before you go, because then you know that you get the workshop that you want. And there's some really great ones, because even though like it's a Scottish quilting show and it's a Sewn for Pleasure show, it's not just quilting and sewing. You could be doing glass making, you could make pin cushions, you could do crochet, you could do lots of amazing things. There's also hand sewing, and then there is machine sewing. So what we're going to be sponsoring, the Sew Happy Quilt Association, is we are sponsoring the Stitching Den, which is all about hand sewing. As you know, although I do a lot of machine sewing, I do a lot of hand sewing as well. So that's going to be a great area to sponsor. And I'm actually doing a couple of workshops at the Scottish Quilting Show. I'm going to be doing the tote bag on with using Hexiform, and which is something that I really, really love. And I'm going to show you quickly what the workshop that I'm going to be doing, and that is making something like this. And so what you're going to be doing is you're going to have a tote bag, and then you're going to have I'm going to show you how to make the grandma's flower block. This is using Hexiform and obviously using fabric, and you're going to get enough to do two, so you can put one on each side of the bag. And you will get a lovely little kit, which is going to look like this. It's going to have everything in it you need, from your snippers and your cottons and your threaders and your quilters clips and your fabrics and your Hexiform, and it's enough to make two. Now the workshop itself is for 90 minutes, so it's going to be a great chance to sit down and have a rest, or even one of my workshops is at the beginning of the day, and so you can do that first thing in the morning and then get yourself set up for the day, having learnt something new. But there's lots of other tutors there as well that you can get involved in. So my workshop is going to be for 90 minutes, and it's £28, and you book that through the ICHF website, through the Scottish Quilting Show website, and so if you do a 90 minutes class, then they're always the same price. There are 60-minute classes, 90 minutes and 120 minutes. So there's absolutely loads to choose from. And ICHF put on the most amazing workshops and things that you can learn. So that is all about the Scottish Quilting Show. So there they also have a quilt competition, and the deadline for that is actually coming up, and the deadline is on the 6th of February. So we've literally got a couple of weeks to get your quilts in. There's loads of different categories that you can actually enter, and so it's a really, really great one to get involved in. There is actually some money of prizes that you can win as well, so get your quilts in for that one. And I'm just going back a step and just mention about Grosvenor. Their deadline for their show is the 4th of March, so you've got like a month between the two to get your quilts in for the Scottish Quilting Show, and then get them in for the Grosvenor Quilts UK show. So it's a really great one. And then of course we've got Sewn for Pleasure, which is actually the weekend after the Scottish Quilting Show. This one doesn't have a competition, but it does have a lovely quilt display that you can go and have a look at, and some amazing suppliers. And once again, like the Scottish one, there are lots of different kinds of suppliers. So it's not just sewing, it is crochet and knitting and learning lots of different things. And it's on for 4 days at the NEC, so you know you can very much go along and spend a couple of days there. You could do some workshops on one day and see all the exhibitors on the other day. But what we're going to be doing as part of the Sew Happy Quilt Association is we are going to be sponsoring the Proud Lounge, and this is an absolutely amazing space. It is within the NEC, and it's a just calm space for you to go to, and we're going to be doing some make and takes from there. We're going to be showing how to do siddy quilting. There's going to be some embroidery going on as well, and some other little workshops that you can do, and this is just a great thing. So do pop along, even if you don't want to have 5 minutes out to have a little rest with us. Just come along and say hi to us and see us. So we will be there in between going off and doing our workshops and also doing our talks from the stage about Sewn for Wellbeing. We will definitely be there, so come and say hello to the SHQA team and cheer us on for both of these shows, because it's going to be, we're super excited about sponsoring those. So the next one that we are corporate sponsorship is Quilt Fair, and this is these are two really lovely shows that are in Northern Ireland. And you might remember one of my lives from last year that I did my extreme day trip when we went to Belfast, and I went with my lovely friend Susan. We flew out really early in the morning and we flew back late at night, and we went to the Belfast Quilt Show. Well, unfortunately, we can't make the Belfast Quilt Show this year because it's the same weekend as our own quilt show at Brighton Racecourse on the 5th and 6th of September. But we are going to be going to their Londonderry show. Now, I'm really excited about this because I've never been to Londonderry, and it is at the Everglades Hotel, and it's on the 8th and 9th of May. Now, the quilt fair is like going to me going back and seeing your family. It is so lovely. It's so welcoming. And the two ladies that run the show, called Margaret and Yvonne, they are just so lovely the way they run it. And again, with that show, a little bit like ICHF, you can go onto their website beforehand and book their workshops. Now, they do have a creative classroom, and it's a creative classroom that we as the So Happy Quilt Association are going to be sponsoring. And there's going to be 3 different workshops in there that are going to be running through the day. I can't tell you what the workshops are going to be right now because I don't know. They're going to probably go on much closer to the event, but I know that last year they were great. There were some really great ones to choose from embroidery to ruler work to learning how to use your scraps up, and you might remember me showing you some of the things that I did, so I'm really excited about that. And they also have a little area where they give talks, and that's, you can sit down and have a listen to the talks. And I'm going to be doing talks about my vintage quilts, which I'm really excited about. I haven't quite decided which ones I'm taking yet. It may well be my lovely Durham quilt that's from 1916. I'll probably bring that one because I've got to take it on a plane, so I'm probably gonna bring that one and talk about that one. But we're really excited about going to Quilt Fair. So do go on their westsite and buy. You can buy tickets for all of these shows. You can buy tickets as you enter the shows as well. And again, with the workshops, Grosvenor, you need to buy them on the day, but with ICHF and Quilt Fair you can pre-purchase the workshops, so at least you know what you're doing, but you can buy them when you get there if there's ones available. So these are just some amazing things that we are going to be doing in 2026 and getting involved in, and do join with us to support these lovely amazing charities and these amazing our corporate sponsors. So let me talk to you about upcoming events. So there is some amazing upcoming events in January and also going into February. So the first one is on the 24th of January. So that is actually next weekend. The Downland Quilters have got their annual quilt show at the Meridian Centre in Peacehaven, and that's alongside the Doughty's Roadshow. So you might see these quite often, where a beautiful quilt group will put all their quilts out on display, and then the lovely Doughties will come along and give you some really great bargains. So it's a really good thing to support, because not only are you supporting the quilt group, you are supporting the supplier as well, and see some lovely fabrics. And we actually will be having a little stand there, so just to support Downland Quilters. It's literally on my doorstep, so do come along, and that is from 10:30 to 2:30 on the 24th of January. So then the next one, which is also on the 24th of January at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a talk on Zoom for our amazing charity From Me to Letters. Now this one, you need to book it through their website, and there's a suggested donation of £3. You can go onto there, and I will be doing my talk all about why I personally sew for my well-being, and hearing all about the quilts that I've made and the quilts that I'm doing, and also we'll be talking about the Me Too Letters charity as well. So that's going to be a lovely thing to do at 7 o'clock on the 24th of January. And then after that, we've got one of the amazing Grosvenor shows, which is the Ardingly, and that is at the South of England Showground. Their show is the 29th to the 31st of January. And like I was mentioning when I was talking about our corporate sponsorships, Grosvenor, it's a long-standing show they've done at Ardingly, and it's a really great venue. Parking is completely free, and it's on 2 floors, and there is a lift between the 2 floors. There is also a cafe that you can go into, and so the ground floor is all of the suppliers. There is going to be some suppliers usually on the stairs as you walk up, on the landing of the stairs, not on the stairs, but on the landing of the stairs as you walk up. And then upstairs you've got the cafe and you've got all the quilt display. Now every year their quilt display changes, so even if you think, oh, I went to Ardingly last year or I went to Malvern or anything last year, it's always different. Their quilts are always different, so it's going to be a lovely display. And I will actually be going with my team on the Saturday. We're going to be doing a live stream from it, so if you can't make the show, then watch us on YouTube, because I'm going to show you around the show, show the quilt, show the suppliers. But it's a really lovely one. And also with Grosvenor, what they do is that you can get discounted tickets for the shows. If you go on up to a couple of days before the show starts, you can get tickets for £8.50 on their website, but on the day it's £10. So it's definitely worth going on to their website and actually getting your tickets get your tickets beforehand and enjoying such an amazing show. I know that a lot of quilt groups meet up at them and just go around it and just have a look at the suppliers, and also on their website, Grosvenor's website, you can see who the exhibitors are. So if you're looking for any particular, like fabrics or supplier, or you're looking for any sewing machines, you can go on and just see, oh, are they going to be there? Yeah, well, okay, we'll aim straight for their stand. So that's what's going on the 29th to the 31st of January, the amazing Ardingly show. And then you've got on the 1st of February is going to be our very first Zoom sewing day From Me to You letters to make the cup mats. Now, to register for this, you just need to go onto our events page that we're showing you now, and it's completely free. You just click on where it says to register, and then you fill all your details in. It says book your tickets, and you click on there, and then you go to it, and then what it will do is it will send you the Zoom login for the day, and it's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You don't have to actually be making cup mats all day if you don't want to. You can come in at any time. But we decided that because this is going to be an ongoing thing From Me to You letters. This is not like a one-off event. We're literally going to keep going, because From Me to You letters send out 13,500 letters a year, although they did in 2024. I'm yet to know what the numbers are for 25, so I imagine it's going to be more. But yes, we've got a lot of cup mats to make, quilters, so get making the cup mats and send them to us. But yeah, so we thought it'd be really good to have days set throughout the year when you know that you can join up and join us to make the cup mats. And I'll always do little demos of little ones that you can do to make. And these are the 2 piles that are about to go off to From Me to You letters for all the to go into all the envelopes. So that's something that you can get involved in. It's completely free on the 1st of February. So the next thing to tell you about is an amazing exhibition that is going to be starting at the American Museum in Bath. You might have heard about the American Museum in Bath, and they've got a big quilt display. And what is starting on the 14th of February is the Gee's Bend exhibition. And these are just amazing quilters from America, and their quilting is just phenomenal. And it is literally it's a mindful way of quilting. They're not worrying about their stitches or their lines or anything like that, and they make the most incredible pieces of art, and they're quite well known. And so we are really lucky that the Gee's Bend exhibition is actually coming to the UK, and because there hasn't been one curated like this before in the UK, and they're going to be having some beautiful quilts on display. So the exhibition is going to be starting on the 14th of February, and it's running to the 21st of June. So there is quite a while to go there, and also if you're going to the Malvern show in May, it could be worth booking and going to see the American Museum at the same time, because it's only an hour away from Malvern. But I definitely recommend it. And if you go onto our YouTube channel, you will see the video that I did back in September when we went to the American Quilt Museum, seeing all the quilts that were there. So it's a really great it's a great place. It's also a charity as well, so and it's a beautiful place with a lovely cafe. I definitely recommend the coffee, because the coffee was great. So then the only really thing, it's not imminent, but the other thing to put in your diaries, because it's quite limited spaces, and that is on the 13th of June, to get in your diaries to celebrate National Sewing Machine Day. I briefly touched on this earlier when I was talking about the tools for self-reliance. And when I went there back in November and I walked around this amazing charity and saw I saw all of these amazing sewing machines on display. They've got sewing machines from like from like the 1900s to date, and obviously they repair them, so it's a little bit like my one sitting here. And I really thought, you know, this is actually a museum tour, because it's incredible. Their work they do is incredible, their display is incredible. So I have managed to coordinate with them doing a very special one-off for the year, the Tools for Self-Reliance workshop tour, and it's £30 to come on the tour. There is only, it's very limited spaces, only 12 spaces. But to get onto one of those spaces, you need to email fundraising@tfsr.org, or you can actually telephone them and say, I'd like to book onto the tour. So I'm giving you that date now because it's quite limited in the spaces. What's going to happen is they usually, on National Sewing Machine Day, they usually do a stash sale anyway. So a bit like the one that we're doing on the 21st of March, but it's going to be more in depth. So they would have done the stash sale anyway. But what's going to happen is you're going to come along to the charity in the morning. It's starting at 10:30. And then with myself, with the volunteers, and also with the people that work at the charity, we're going to be giving you the whole tour of the place, from the workshop, about how they repair them, not just the sewing machines, but the tools as well. You can see how they repair them. And then we're going to go up to their amazing haberdashery floor, and you can see all the haberdashery stuff, that because when they send out the sewing machines, they don't just send out the sewing machine, they send out a pack of all the stuff as well. So you're going to see all the bits and bobs that goes into the packs, and maybe, you know, in your mind formula, oh, okay, I might have this, or I might have that, I can donate to it. So that's going to be amazing. And then we're going to walk through the bit of the charity that has all of the sewing machines, and then we're going to be talking about the different ages of the sewing machines and the different models and everything else. And then we're going to go into what is called their education room, and then I'm going to be giving you a talk on the history of Singer sewing machines, because if you remember from one of my live streams way back, whenever it was, that I told you a lot of history on Isaac Singer and how amazing it was. So they also have other machines there. So they have Pfaffs, and they have Genomes, and they also have Elners as well. So I'm going to be giving you the history on Elners, and that's going to be really lovely. And then after that, we're going to need tea and cake. So we're going to have the tea and cake, have a bit of a rest, and then you guys are going to get first option and first picks of all of their haberdashery sale before the general sale starts at 2:00. So it's definitely going to be a well worth tour to get onto, and I'm going to be there with some of my team, so you're going to meet us as well. So do definitely support that. And like I said, I'm telling you now because there's only limited spaces available, so get emailing them or get ringing them to book onto the tour, and it's £30 for the space. It's going to be well worth the money for a one-off tour to come and have a listen. So that's all the upcoming events for the Sew Happy Quilt Association. We've got all of our March things coming up, but I will talk to you about that when we do our next live stream, which I will talk to you about in a bit. So we do have some amazing offers to give you to kick your year off. Obviously, we did have all of the January sales offers that the suppliers gave us up until the end of December, and hopefully you participate in that. So huge thanks to all of them for giving us those offers. But the ones that we've got for you at the moment is an offer from an amazing embroidery company called Hand and Lock, and they have given us a 15% discount to book their workshops by using the code TOUR, TOUR 15. Now, we actually went on a tour with them last week, and it was just amazing. And if you don't know anything about Hand and Lock, go and look them up and go and see what they do, because they do this most intricate, phenomenal embroidery, and they did a lot for the coronation, and they did a lot of the outfits that were involved, and a lot of the military outfits that were involved for the coronation. And they do teach as well how to do the embroidery. And even when I've looked at the website before, I've thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'd never ever be able to do that. But when we went on the tour and they spoke about how they did it, I thought, actually, do you know what, it actually does entice me to come back and do a workshop. So I'll keep you updated on that, because I probably will do it at some point. So that, like I said, they've given us an amazing offer of 15% off their workshops, and they do short workshops and they do long workshops, so it just depends what you want. And with the code of TOUR 15. So the other offer that we've still got going on at the moment is from our lovely friend Alex Hellawell at Dark Fairy Creations, and this is for her the very, very beautiful little pincushion, and I've actually been using this loads and I love it. I actually love the height of it, because usually pincushions are quite low down, and what I found is that because of the height, it's easier to pop your pins in from the sewing machine, and also you've got this cute little thing where you put your little scissors. And her offer is currently on until the 1st of February, and to buy one of the little the little pin cushions, and we're using the code SEW4ME, and you get the little free scissors with it. Now bear in mind that these are literally handmade, and so they're not something that literally she just like ships out straight away. So there is a little bit of time and to get them sent out to you. And you can also choose the fabric that's at the top as well, so you get the choice of that, and you can see it on the screen, the different choice. But it's really lovely, and I love the cute little caterpillar and the cute little mushrooms, and it's really unusual. And actually, if you fancy learning how to make one of these, then Alex Hellawell is actually teaching it at Sewing for Pleasure. So like I was mentioning earlier, it's not just sewing and quilting that's at places like Sewing for Pleasure. It's actually making things like this. And if I wasn't doing my own workshop, I'd definitely come and do it, Alex, but I don't think we're going to be able to fit it in because I think the time clashes. But you never know. We'll come to the next one. So it's a really, really cute little thing. So the next thing that I mentioned earlier, which I mentioned again, is about Grosvenor events and their Ardingly show. You can go onto the website and their tickets are £8.50. And then obviously they are going to be a bit more on the door, but it's definitely worth doing that. We're going to keep helping to promote the Grosvenor shows and reminding you about their amazing tickets that you can go on and purchase. So I think that's all of our amazing things. It's been a bit of a whirlwind couple of weeks actually coming into the new year and getting everything set up ready for 2026 and some amazing adventures that we're going to be having. And our next live stream is going to be at the Ardingly show at 2:30 on the 31st. And you can walk around with us and you can see all about around the show, see the quilts. And then after that, the next live stream that I've personally got here is on the 17th of February back in my sewing room, and I'm going to be showing you all of my quilt kits. So that's going to be really interesting. I thought it'd be really interesting to do quilt kits because I've probably got some that I've completely forgotten about. Now we're all like that. We all go to shows or we buy a block of the month, or or we might buy it off like a Facebook marketplace or something and think, oh, it's a really cheap kit, I'll buy that for later. So I'm going to show you guys the kits that I've got and also show you the ones that I'm working on at the moment. And maybe we'll make a decision as to whether I start another one or not. I don't know. See what we can fit in. But the other thing just to finally mention is that although we have a social media platform on our TikTok, and what I've entered into doing in 2026 is going live on TikTok, which is great fun. And I'm getting to chat to lots of quilters all around the world. And so basically all you'll see me doing is just pooling around my sewing room and see what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, really. So it's great fun. So if you like TikTok, or you want to you want to investigate a new platform, then that's the one to go on, because I think it's great fun. So it's going to be a wonderful year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, we've got our first birthday coming up, which is on the 6th of March, when actually I'm going to be at Sewing for Pleasure. So that's going to be interesting. But there is going to be a very special video that's going to go up on that date as well to celebrate our first birthday. And I really can't believe that we're coming up to our first birthday. It's just incredible. So I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I thought I wouldn't waffle on too long for the very first one in 2026. Just talk to you about our charity partners and also our corporate sponsorships. So have a good evening, and I hope to see you at some of the Zoom events that we're putting on, especially the cut mat ones, and I can show you how to make cute little cut mats. So I will see you on the next live stream. See you later. Bye.
Come along to our first So Happy Quilters Association quilt show at Brighton Racecourse. Tickets available on our website. You can find the So Happy Quilters Association on social media, and don't forget to subscribe.